Hey y'all, so this video is continuing on about my cookbook journey. If you haven't tuned in yet, then I've got, a couple of others there that explain what's going on and kind of why I'm doing this. But I wanted to continue kind of in the last one about what happened today. So I'm actually at the car wash right now, just sitting at the car wash waiting for my daughter. And this is the little time I have to pop on here and create some videos describing my journey. And so, like I said, I had a bad week the last 2 weeks. Last 2 weeks were not great. They were really difficult, and the last video explains why. But today I had a great day, and it was I just want to say that, like, it reminded me of why I'm doing this, like what was able to pull me back in and give me relaxation and give me hope, because sometimes you need it when you're in the midst of these crazy projects that are all so demanding and so magnanimous. And I woke up and I had to make the spice rub for the lamb shanks, and I was making a ras el hanout, and I just said, you know what, I'm gonna approach this in the way that I love. And I love spice blends. I just think they're so amazing. I think it's mind-blowing that there are so many botanical varieties that are available to us in the culinary world, and they're all so different, and they all dance well together. I mean, not all of them, but many of them, you can pair them and they dance well together, and it just makes the eating experience so amazing. And I just kept that in mind as I'm like measuring out, cumin seed, black peppercorn, coriander, clove, a cinnamon stick, and I'm measuring these things out, and I'm ready to grind them up. And I'm just like, this is why I'm here. This is fascinating. I'm just one of those people that loves food and am continuously humbled by it, because it's always teaching me something else, and it just doesn't get dull. It doesn't get dull. I still feel like my love for food is as strong as when I was at a point in realizing that's what I wanted to do for my profession. And yeah, I just let myself go in there. And then I also was I created a little Pinterest board a while ago when I had done like some color palette work for some Moroccan food, and I was looking at that, and it was like, I've never been to Morocco. I feel like an imposter making this dish and saying like I have some authority over this food. But I was looking at the pictures of Morocco and just how colorful it was, and how beautiful all the tapestries and the different tiles that would just be around if you're walking around. And yeah, it was just so vibrant. And I just thought, in the visual aspect of this dish, I want to show that. I want to show how beautifully colorful and vibrant this culture is from where this dish comes from. I always feel like I have to do the culture or the cuisine service. I have to show a little shred of it. I have to let that sparkle through, and not just taking that dish and making it my style or like making it my thing. I feel like it doesn't look good to me unless it has that glimmer and sparkle of the place from where it came. And like I said, I haven't personally been there. I would love to go. But you're able to look at pictures online and look at videos and kind of get a sense. Like, I'll watch YouTube videos also of people in that country creating that dish, and you really do get a sense of being there, like you're watching a movie. You kind of feel like you're there. And so I put myself in that scene. I put myself there as much as I can. And yeah, so I was just getting lost in that. And I had some this was kind of serendipitous. For the recipe, I wanted to include preserved lemons, which were in the charmoula, which is kind of this like relish, herbal relish that goes with Moroccan food. And I was like, well, this is great. I just cleaned out the fridge and I found these preserved lemons way in the back like 2 days ago. So I was able to put them in there, and I think they had been in there for like a year. I forgot about them, and they still tasted wonderful. Like, food preservation is real. Even with using, you know, the refrigeration, it was still, you know, those two things combined, like a year later, I still had these wonderful preserved lemons, and the flavor is, there's no substitute for the flavor. It's just so good and very unique. Like when you cut into the rind, which is the part that you use for the preserved lemons, yeah, they're just very unique. And I was able to put that in the charmoula, and I made these wonderful confit carrots that have a little bit of orange zest in them and cumin seed, and they are confit in some ghee and lamb tallow, so they go with the lamb dish. Not a lot of lamb tallow in there, just I think it's like a 1/4 cup, and then there's like a cup of ghee that you put over all of these cut up carrots and let them go low and slow, and then puree them, and they are like silky. It's like the silkiest texture ever. It's so good. Yeah, I don't know where I was going. Anyway, I was letting like the, you know, aesthetic of Morocco take over my mind, and I was trying to put myself there. And anyway, when I went to go shoot the dish, I had pre-planned some stuff last night for props, background, and everything. And I went to go dish up, and I was like starting to doubt it as I was doing it. I spread the carrot puree on this large round serving plate. And at that point I was like, oh, I don't know, but I just kept going. And then I placed the lamb shanks down. I had 4 of them, and I placed them down in this configuration that I had planned and I thought would look nice. And oh boy, it did not. Oh boy, it just looked horrid. And I know when it's going to be horrid, I'm like, I can't do this. This is not going to work. So I've got all of that silky puree down, and I had placed the lamb on top. I had positioned with like little, oh, I don't know what they're called, like the little makeup buffers, like these little kind of foamy pieces that you use to position up food a little bit. Those are all up in there, and I'm like moving stuff around, like, oh, maybe if I just do this, it would look a little better, or angle the bones of the shank like this way a little bit. And I tried all these things, and it was like 10 minutes later, I was covered up to here with carrot puree. There was carrot puree blobbed all over the meat and the bones. It looked like horrible, and I had to completely restart. So I had to remove the shanks. I had to go wash them off in the sink and wash off all that orange stuff. I had to wash out myself. I had to rethink everything, and I just went into my prop back area. I have a pantry that I keep my props in, and I went back there, and this plate, it was an oval platter with pink and blue flowers on the border. It spoke to me. I said, this is the one. I wasn't feeling the round shape. I wanted something oval, and I liked the colors. So I grabbed it, put it down on top of the linen that I had, which was a good choice linen. It's like a turquoise color, perfect for Morocco. And I'm like, I think this is it, and I think I need to just slow down and play for a minute. So I did, because sometimes I'll have the plan, I'll execute it, kind of put it down, look at my screen as I'm tethering, and like boom boom, got it, okay, good. You know, this time it didn't happen. So I was like, I need to play, right? So I wash off the lamb, got all that orange stuff off of being everywhere. Look at my fingers, all this stuff. I'm like, oh, it tastes so good. I couldn't be mad. And I just had them on a clean plate, and I kind of played with the shapes of them, and like the ones that weren't so great, pieces that weren't looking so good, I kind of hid with the nicer piece. And I just let what was there, I let it speak to me. I let it guide me into a desirable way that it should be styled. Instead of saying, I have this idea and I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna crush it in there and make it work. It was the opposite this time. I played with it. I let my eyes tell me what looks good here, what shapes do I want, how do I want these to cross, and ooh, wouldn't it be nice if the charmoula was up here in a pile? At first I was gonna sprinkle it over everywhere, and I decided, how would I put it in a pile here, and then kind of diagonally down I would have another pile of the carrot puree instead of covering the entire bottom of the plate like I originally wanted. And then I thought, oh, I've got these beautiful nuts. I toasted some almonds and pine nuts, and I liked that there were two different kind of opposing sizes. They were roughly the same shape with the blanched almonds and the pine nuts, and the mixing them together just gave like such texture and a little pop. And I kind of sprinkled them around, and then the charmoula contained parsley and cilantro, so I pulled those whole herbs out, and I thought I'll garnish with those. And I did use some toothpicks to hold the meat together, and so I just used some pieces of cilantro and parsley to cover the little pokes of the toothpick coming out. Just really, I didn't really plan it, really. I just used the herbs to cover the toothpicks, and that's where they sat. There was like maybe like 4 or 5 little pokey outs that I just covered up with a little sprig of herb. And I was looking, and I'm like, okay, this looks really good. Like, it looks satisfying. This composition looked good. And then I was like, okay, the meat's looking a little dry, so I had strained off some some sauce, and it was at like a nice room temperature where it's still flowy and had like a nice viscosity. And I brushed it onto the meat, and it just made the meat pop and look so juicy, and picked up a little shine from the light. And that was it. That was really everything. And it was ready to go. The light was okay. I did a setup I had done in the past. I wish it had been a little different, like a little more shadowy. It was like a little bright, but I still kind of edited it to have my moody style. And yeah, I'm really happy with the result. Oh my goodness, I can't talk. Oh, and one other thing, I was able to add the prunes, because there are prunes in this recipe, and you toss them with orange blossom water, and they are so good. Like, they soak it up. So I toss them together for the whole time that the braise is in the oven, so they sit there for like 2 or 3 hours and soak up all of that orange blossom water. And I didn't think I was gonna plate them, because I was like, oh, this is looking so good, like, why ruin it with the prunes? And, you know, maybe they melt in at the end anyway. They kind of melt down, so you wouldn't notice them if you were plating it. And then I'm like, you know what, let's just try it, because I like having them whole at the end, and they really do add to the dish itself. So I put them on there on such a way that it looked really good. And I thought, oh, they're so dark, it's just gonna look like a black blob. But no, they kind of picked up the shine from having been tossed in that orange blossom water. They had like shininess on them to where they didn't just look black, and it actually added to the composition, so I was really happy. But yeah, anyway, that's the spiel. Anyway, I think my wrap up is, when things are hard, you have to slow down, and you have to pull yourself away, and you have to think, and you have to be patient. Sometimes the revelations come 3 days later. It's not instant. And we all like instant gratification, like, want to know why right now. But yeah, when your heart's in it and it's meant to be, it shall happen. So yes, bye for now, friends.